News Update. Prince George's police are investigating a shooting and carjacking at a gas station in Bladensburg. The incident, which was caught on surveillance video, took place at the 5400 block of Annapolis Road on March 17th. Police say the armed suspect approached the victim and demanded the car. After a brief struggle, police say the carjacker opened fire, but fortunately, the victim wasn't injured.
You'll see that the victim in this case got into a brief struggle with the suspect. We would like to discourage anyone from trying to protect property. Property is replaceable, insured. Your life is not replaceable. Our main focus in this case, though, is to capture those brazen gun-wielding thieves who are targeting innocent individuals that are going about their day-to-day. Okay? To the community, if you remember seeing anything or hearing anything around 1:30 in the morning in the 5400 block, again, that's a gas station on Annapolis Road, we'd like to hear from you.
The suspect took off in the victim's car, which is a 2019 Kia Forte. A second suspect was driving a dark gray Nissan Altima. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact police at 1-866-411-TIPS. For Marylanders hesitant about getting the vaccine, legislation is being considered to offer you protection on the job. House Bill 1171 is known as the Maryland Employee Protection Plan for vaccine refusal. It would bar an employer from firing you if you refuse to get the COVID-19 vaccine. It would also stop you from suing your employer if you contract the virus while working. Delegate Nick Charles says the measure would protect both businesses and workers.
So I tried to take everybody into consideration. I tried to make sure that we had our frontline workers and all of the folks that's out there protected who choose not to right now, and protect the businesses as well. I think we had to try to find a fine balance and what's the right thing to do for helping our people. This isn't an anti-vaxxer bill. This isn't something where we're adding to hysteria. This is about truly protecting the most vulnerable citizens.
If enacted, Charles says the measure would expire in 2023. Maryland lawmakers want to tackle the current pandemic with a 2-year plan for the state's health department. As reported earlier this week, the Senate passed an emergency bill. It would require the department to provide funding to cover tests for local jurisdictions, nursing home residents, and universities. The legislation also calls for the creation of a state public health jobs corps.
Hospitals, the doctors, the health departments would say, you know, we need 500 more people to do contact tracing, or we need and this is why planning ahead, not for next week, but this is planning over the next 2 years. We think we're going to need this number of people with these skills to administer vaccines. And so they would do centralized recruiting, they do centralized training, and then those folks would be able to be hired by the actual provider.
Senator Jim Rosapap is the sponsor of the legislation. The number of people testing positive for COVID-19 in Maryland continues to inch up. 1,382 people in Maryland tested positive for the disease over the past 24 hours. That's 209 more than the day before and 660 more than were diagnosed on Tuesday. 3 deaths were reported today. That's down from 19 the previous day. In other news, after 2 months in office, President Joe Biden holds his first formal news conference. Biden addressed a small group of reporters in the East Room of the White House. Before taking questions, Biden gave a brief progress report about his response to the pandemic. He said his goal of vaccinating 100 million people in 100 days was reached last week on day 58. And he set another goal of 200 million shots in arms by his 100th day in office. He talked briefly about opening schools and the economy before taking questions on immigration, guns, and climate control. A leading sports figure raises her voice for equality. U.S. women's soccer team star Megan Rapinoe was at the White House speaking up on National Equal Pay Day. On average, women earn 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. Rapinoe says she's learned about inequality firsthand.
Win 4 World Cup championships and 4 Olympic gold medals for the United States. And despite those wins, I've been devalued, I've been disrespected, and dismissed because I am a woman. And I've been told that I don't deserve any more than less because I am a woman. You see, despite all the wins, I'm still paid less than men who do the same job that I do.
Rapinoe was at the White House yesterday as the president signed a National Equal Pay Day proclamation. The Federal Emergency Management Agency will begin reimbursing families for funeral expenses. That's if a loved one died of COVID-19. FEMA says it will provide up to $9,000 per funeral. Families that lost multiple people to the disease can receive up to $35,000. Death certificates must indicate COVID-19 as a factor. For a full list of requirements, go to the website at the bottom of your screen. While you're watching CTV News, I'm Keisha Butts. We'll be back in one moment.
I moved to Florida with literally pennies in my pocket and a prayer. I needed a new start. Dacian looks like a very typical 3-year-old until you ask him, "What's your name? How old are you?" My son has a lot of behaviors that would show as being autistic. Most kids can tolerate a variety of foods, but unfortunately for Dacian, everything has to be organic and raw. I wasn't ashamed to go to the food pantries. It's expensive to eat healthy, and nutrition is very important to Dacian's health. The healthy organic food that we receive dramatically helped his social skills. Most people would say she really doesn't have much of a life, but to me, I have everything right there next to me and my son.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, "I want him, he's gotta come home with me." Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Welcome back. In wake of recent attacks on Asian Americans, 2 school board members are speaking out against hate. Rahila Ahmed and Joshua Thomas say the Atlanta shootings highlight an escalating pattern of hate crimes against the Asian community. Ahmed and Thomas say they stand in solidarity with the Asian community. Both also say they have a commitment to ensure the school system remains inclusive. Calling it an unprecedented move forward, Governor Larry Hogan signed legislation to provide the state's HBCUs more than $500 million over 10 years. As we reported yesterday, the legislation would fund scholarships, faculty, and academic programs at Bowie State, Morgan, Coppin, and the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. In 2006, a group of graduates from the 4 schools sued the state, alleging inequitable treatment. Supporters called it a win for everyone.
Well, it's extremely significant for our campuses, but also for the state to ensure that our HBCUs are able to continue to grow, to thrive, and contribute to the workforce development needs and also to our communities. We are public universities, 3 of the institutions, and we believe in the public good, and we want to be part of the larger community. And we have been doing that here at Bowie State University for over 150 years as the first HBCU in the state of Maryland. So it's extremely significant.
The state will provide just under $5 million annually to be divided up between the schools based on student enrollment. The Hyattsville Police Department is combating stigmas about mental health with a new program. Phase 1 kicked off last week. First responders and dispatchers are receiving training to work with persons in emotional distress. Meantime, next month, the city is setting aside a day for workers for mental health and wellness.
And that will include a mental illness 101, training specific to domestic violence, and some information about what resources are available within Prince George's County.
It means that we have a closer and more ready, frankly, police force to meet people again where they are.
The City Council is expected to vote on providing additional training programs for the next fiscal year. The Lady Terps roll over the Crimson Tide. Their matchup against Alabama yesterday turned into a blowout victory. They scorched Alabama, scoring a 100-64 win. Freshman Angel Reese led the team in scoring with 19 points. Faith Masonis chipped in with 16, her season high, and the bench contributed 46.
I mean, obviously, it's fun when you got your bench just coming out and destroying. Like you said, we had 40, I think it was 46 points. That's a championship team right there. If one person's not having a good night, you could turn and somebody else is gonna have their night. So it's, I don't know, it's just a championship mentality. Anyone can do it. Just feeding that hot hand and, you know, exposing everything we got. We got so many different options and so many different assets. So it's just important that we keep using them.
A tremendous team win for 40 minutes. And just to see, you know, when Mimi came out and let us, you know, 5 for 5 to start the game. I think we had 46 points before our leading scorer, Ashley Owusu, got her first bucket. So I think it continues to show you just the balance of this team, the depth that we have.
The Lady Terps take on Texas in a Sweet 16 match up this weekend. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain with a low around 61 degrees. Friday, sunny and breezy with seasonably warm temps ranging in the lower 80s and later dropping back down to a low around 49. Saturday, sunny with a high near 70 and a low around 54. Sunday, mostly cloudy with the possibility of heavy rain and thunderstorms. Daytime temps reach a high near 71 with an evening low around 42. And now for the community calendar. Throw on your workout gear, grab your mat, and head outside. Pick the best class that suits your fitness goals and enjoy the benefits of exercising in nature. Come out to Fairwood Community Park in Bowie for an early morning balance and stretch course tomorrow, March 26th from 8:30 until 9:30 a.m. The class is free for ages 13 and up. For more information, call 301-446-6838. And that wraps up our CTV News Update. Join us again tomorrow at 4:30. Have a good night and stay safe.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit princegeorgescountymd.gov. That's princegeorgescountymd.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.